the improv episode. You know, Jess does it very well, improv, and we talk about improv a lot. And I really found out a lot about comedy. You know, I would say that myself, I'm quite good at improv. Wait, what was the next line? Love is Blind.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched it.
And they kept having all these like interviews with them all like throughout the whole like 6 weeks or whatever, and they were always wearing the same top, and I was like, oh my god, they must just have that top like by the side when they do the film. I hope.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think Netflix dating shows do that in general, because I watched another one and they wore the same clothes, but it was like a different night. But was it a different night, or did she do that all in one night?
We didn't have a or anything bad today here in Wales, so that makes a change.
Yeah, we had loads of rain.
Yeah.
It's been dark all day.
Yeah, I was really worried.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was just like, it's looking gloomy, but it's not raining, and I was like, shall I go out and water the plants? Because is it going to be dry all day or not? And then it rained, and I was like, yes. Yeah, it's things like changing the dishwasher sponge, or like making sure my plants have enough water. Like those are the things that get me really excited. Because I planted like 12 little sunflowers, and I put them all like near each other. So I'm really hoping that they grow. They're supposed to grow like 3 or 4 meters tall. So I'm really hoping we get some huge sunflowers all gathered together. That's why I'm really hoping all the conditions are good.
Actually, that's what I was going to ask. What have you guys been doing in lockdown, you know, other than working? Because I've definitely been procrastinating and doing other things. So what other things have you been trying to keep yourself occupied with?
Harry Potter audiobooks.
Love that.
Yeah, lots of reading. A lot more reading than I normally do. And I've got like a new craze, because I have a Kindle, but I have a new craze for buying actual books, because I find if I have an actual book, I'm not looking at a screen or anything, and I feel a lot more calmer for some reason.
Yeah.
How many years of university education do you need to use one of these? Hello, thank you for having me. It's been a long time since I've been here, and I've got some news. It is now Dr. Jess Spurrell. The hoodie you wear. Oh, yes, and the festive hoodie, because what's more festive than the Doctor Who Christmas special? Thank you for that. That really actually means a lot, because doing a PhD is really hard. And when you go and collect your certificate, you do not get a round of applause. So I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much for having me here back at Bright Club. I was involved in the beginning of Bright Club, as they said, and just to see you all here more than 2 years on, after a long day at work. I'm not going to cry, it's fine. But genuinely, it's thank you all for coming and continuing to support this, because it means that all the time I was avoiding writing my thesis was worthwhile. So I do appreciate it. I recently accidentally went on a little tour. It's not something I often do by accident, but it happened. I got to go and see lots of cafes scientifiques, lots of skeptics in the pub, lots of U3A, lots of Pint Science, all around the country, all the big name cities, London, Edinburgh, Basingstoke. It went a bit downhill from then on, you know, Southampton, Portsmouth, Gosport, so... and now I'm back here, so that's lovely. And I went on tour because I don't know if any of you remember that story in the news about the girl who wanted to be cryogenically frozen after she died. But that happened, and I studied cryogenic engineering. And so people wanted to know about this. They wanted to know about cryogenic engineering. They thought, we'll get an expert in, because some people still value experts, which is nice to know. So I went on this tour, and people wanted to know about freezing dead people, and there was a slight problem with this, which is that freezing dead people doesn't work, so it's not something that we do. But okay, I'll back up a bit there. Obviously, you can freeze anything you want. You can put whatever you like in a freezer. Eventually, it's going to get cold. But I imagine with human beings, what you want is to be able to thaw them out and then them to be in some sort of useful state. But the thawing out is a bit of a sticky issue because I don't know if any of you have ever put fruit in the freezer and then you take it out and it's all a little bit mushy. It's a sticky issue thawing out dead people because that's exactly what's going to happen with them as well. So I essentially had to go around the country telling people that the thing they wanted to know about freezing dead people doesn't work. It was a short tour. But I did it. I went round, and I have just become a doctor, and so that was nice to be able to tell people about that. And the novelty hasn't worn off either. So at the weekend, I had my first genuine experience. I'm sure some people in the room had this, where someone actually asked me if I could look at their medical letter from the hospital. I'm a doctor of engineering, so I don't think "Have you tried WD-40" was quite the advice. It amused me. So if you want to find out a bit more about the science of cryogenic engineering, I'd love to refer you to my first Bright Club video, which is available on YouTube. Because the Bright Club team are amazing, and you should check out all of their stuff, all the podcasts and videos.
Always selling Bright Club.
It would be great if you could check it out, because I'm about 7 watches off being the most watched of Bright Club Southampton. I really want to meet James Dyer, so if you could and do that, it would be very much appreciated. But anyway, I guess I'd refer you to that for more of the science of cryogenic engineering, because what I'd like to do now, if I may, while I've got your attention, ladies and gentlemen, is tell you a little bit about some things that are going on in my life, if that's okay. Because I've recently moved out of the sphere of academia, and so I actually have one, which is really nice for the first time in a while to have a life. And while you can take the academic out of academia, you can't take the academia out of academic. Can't take the academia out of the academic or teach them to speak in front of people. So as soon as I find something new that is exciting, a new discovery that I enjoy, like having a life for the first time, my instinct is to tell everyone about it. And I haven't yet found the journal that's going to publish that paper. So I'm up here in front of you guys sharing some things. So many moons ago, I had a vision, a goal, an aim, a dream, if you will, that one day I would tick a different box when I was filling out forms. It's a noble vision, I'm sure you all agree. And we're in the digital age now, so not just ticking boxes, selecting from drop-down menus. I wanted to have a different title, basically. Not just any title, I didn't want your colonels, your reverends, your left lieutenants, your knights, none of that. I had my heart set on 2 little letters. And despite severe amounts of procrastination, I'm not just talking about watching, videos of cats on YouTube. I'm talking about genuinely setting up entire comedy clubs. I mean, you guys probably, because Nick and Dave and the team do such an amazing job, you guys probably are still under the impression that this is all put on for yourselves, your edification and your entertainment, but really it genuinely started as a way for me to avoid writing my thesis. So I'm very glad that they're in charge now. But, so severe amounts of procrastination, somehow got to the end of that journey, got the title, told everyone about it, which, was nice. But it was a very long and winding journey because research by its very nature is completely unpredictable. And not just in terms of the actual experiments or theoretical stuff that you're doing, although that is unpredictable. My entire thesis, for example, was based on measuring something that we measured for the first time by accident because of my supervisor's dodgy soldering. It's genuinely true. Poking stuff and then running and then seeing what happens is essentially what we do in research. Sometimes it's a bit more elaborate than that. Sometimes you poke stuff in a deserted car park at 5 a.m. surrounded by sandbags, run away to a safe distance and then see what happens. But it's essentially the same thing. So the research itself is unpredictable, but so is the journey that it takes you on. You genuinely have no idea where it's going to take you, what career you'll end up in, what things you'll discover, what situation you'll end up in. For example, I'm a coach for the CERN scientists on your way to a medieval banquet in North Wales. It's just, you can't predict this stuff, you couldn't write it. And so what happened for me was that I discovered something quite early on, which was that I'm a project engineer, so I get to use liquid nitrogen in the lab and I get to freeze samples and take measurements, and that's quite fun, cryogenics and all that. But you do it every day, so there's people around you and it's very methodical. What's really, really fun is if you take that same liquid nitrogen out into a school, tennis balls, flowers, those little squishy aliens you get in eggs, bananas, children, anything you want. Maybe not the children, but anything you want, you can freeze. And the kids absolutely, they go nuts for it because they've never seen anything like it. Like a supervisor who's been doing it for 30 years, they've never seen it before, and they go absolutely mad for it. And that is very good for the ego. So it's a lot of fun, and it turns out if you ask nicely at the right time and the right funding around, there's a job in this, and someone will actually pay you to do that. So that's what I do now. I work at the university still, but I'm public engagement. Absolutely love my job. But it did take me a while to settle into some of the things around it. There were some slight issues, but just took me a while to settle in because I am by all my many years of training, I'm an academic engineer. Suddenly I find myself in this unit that's actually in the social sciences faculty, or the full title of the Faculty of Social, Human and Mathematical Sciences, or SHAM Science. I'm not biased this time. So I find myself surrounded by social scientists every day, and also my job, it's not an academic role, it's a professional services role, so I'm meant to be a proper grown-up who knows what they're doing. So I genuinely, for the first couple months of this role, every email I sent, every meeting I had, every time I introduced myself, even though it was completely irrelevant to what was happening, I would have to say, as I was at the time, I am a postgraduate student in engineering, postgraduate research student in engineering. Almost like a disclaimer, that I may be surrounded by social scientists, I may be masquerading as one of them, but really, if I can't reduce the problem to an equation and solve it with duct tape, I am going to get very confused. What do you mean you can't measure things that are confused? And then also, I may be wearing this professional services hat, but actually I'm an academic by training, which is why I'm probably at least 50 minutes late for whatever meeting this is, and I have no idea what it is. So you have to bear with me on that one. So you do end up in some really bizarre situations, both in research and outside of research. And I did mention some CERN scientists on a coach on their way to medieval banquet in North Wales, and this did genuinely happen. So my research was to do with the high luminosity upgrade of the Large Hadron Collider, and this big upgrade project.
Just was distracted by how someone was excited by the electricity.
International project, people all over the world working on it, and they meet up every year to discuss how it's going. And normally little postgrads like myself don't get to go along to big meetings. But one year, for some reason, my supervisor decided to pack the whole research group up in a people carrier and send us off like some sort of bizarre family holiday. He didn't come, he came up separately, so I guess like some sort of bizarre dysfunctional family holiday. And sent us up to this meeting, and it was a bit like a conference over a couple of days, and they always have a big meal at the end of conferences, and some of you may know they tend to try and outdo each other with the big blowout meal at the end, make it bigger, better, faster, stronger, more novel, whatever it is. And so this time it was a medieval banquet in North Wales, so they packed us all up on a coach, always important. So I never thought I would see some quite senior people at CERN quaffing ale, toasting wenches, and listening to Greensleeves whilst it was being played on a lute. It's just not something you expect. In fact, if there was anything I expected to see less than that, it was probably the coach full of CERN scientists on their way back from the medieval banquet in North Wales, sleeping very peacefully, apart from a bunch of rowdy particle physicists at the back singing very loudly. And given my recent work with teenagers, I don't know what they were singing, but it's probably best left. Yeah, so that's me. I don't freeze people. I don't know how on earth I got to do the job that I'm doing because it's all so unpredictable, and I have no idea how the LHC got upgraded given the amount of ale that was quaffed during the process. But here I am, and if I have one sort of take-home message from this, because we like to round things up nicely in research, it's probably this. Don't worry so much about following your dreams. Follow your procrastinations. They're a lot more fun, and there's probably a job in it at the end of it. I've been Dr. Jess, you've been brilliant. Thank you very much.
Advice.
Follow your procrastinations.
That is my life advice for you right there.
I'm gonna get like a photo, one of my photos of like a whale breaching, and I'll just write like don't follow your dreams, follow your procrastination, and I'll print it and I'll sell it as like a motivational poster for people.
Oh, remember they were a craze, and they were in offices everywhere and TV. We should start a whole new line in like more realistic versions.
You should do it. Sell it on Etsy.
Yeah.
So actually, there was a lot of audience participation in that video. So you know the first thing about your hoodie was that?
Oh, yeah.
Was this that a random person who asked you that?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, so in the training, are you taught to respond to the audience? Because I know, Sadie, some of the audience in your performance as well are giving you some like interaction as well. Are you told to feed off what they say, or like sort of ignore it and carry on with your set?
I don't know what is recommended in training, but I think part of it is just how you feel at the time. Like if you think of something and you want to go with it, but also the most important thing is to not let it put you off and lose your thread, because it could be quite disorientating, I guess. But there is also something about being up there, and people have spoken before about feeding the energy off the audience. When it becomes like a fun conversation, then it's much easier to sort of think of things and respond, because when you have a conversation with your friends, you quite often try and make them laugh anyway. So if you just think of it like that, then I
remember once, it wasn't in the first Bright Club, it was the same set, and I did it again, and someone was talking about when I was saying about the sword and how I'd run out of battery. Yeah. They were like, ooh, and then that was a moment on stage, I realised that it could actually be quite rude. But literally, I'd done the set like twice by that point, and I hadn't realised that talking about a sword and like it losing battery could be construed in a rude way. Until luckily, the person in the crowd was one of my friends, so I was able to be like, "Oh yeah." But yeah.
No, I get you. Audience is very. You got to work with it. I totally understand that.
Large Hadron Collider. Did they just like the Large Hadron Collider?
Yeah, was that? Did you plant that person in there?
No, I just Bright Club crowd so much. If there's one crowd where the thing that's going to get the cheer is the Large Hadron Collider.
And in North Wales, was it? Is it called Llangrannog? Where did you go in North Wales?
It was a long time ago. Okay. I know the conference was like just over the border, somewhere in Cheshire, I think, at some physics place.
We got sent somewhere in North Wales for our masters, like we had to team up with Swansea University and Aberystwyth University, and it just like it was a nightmare. It was messy.
Oh, is that because they all used to be University of Wales, right?
Yeah. And I think there's these two ladies who used to own Llangollen, like this big manor, I guess, and then they just used to give it to the University of Wales to hold conferences and stuff. So that's why I wondered if it was there.
I went.
Is it like a stately home more than a castle? But
yeah, I went to like a Gregnog Hall, which is not far.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
So it was like more
Llangrannog.
Central Western Wales. It was like, because I stayed there for a few days for a seminar.
Oh, like actually in the hall. I bet this was the same place. It was pretty fancy.
It was like a massive, and the facades were like Tudor style. You know, the white with black beams, and then there were like there was like a courtyard outside, and we did archery and stuff. It was mad. What? And they even had like this little woody walking path around the back of it. Yeah.
You can't predict these things, can you, when you sign up for this stuff?
Wait, did you say it was a seminar?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was the UK Acoustics Network. They just formed, and they had an early career researcher summer school, and I was invited to go and give a workshop on presenting your research. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yeah, fine, because we happened to be in Swansea that week for a wedding, and so we were like, well, then let's just do a little Wales trip in the summer. So then we did like all the 4 waterfalls, and then we drove up to Gregnog and did that for a few days. And then it was a very long drive back to Southampton.
Yeah. On my trip there, one of the Aberystwyth uni lads, he was writing a book or something, and it was very similar to his Dark Materials, where there's like people have demons. But in the book he was writing, there was a squirrel demon called Sadie, and as soon as he found out, he was just like following me around and asking me questions, like some kind of like insight into like being a squirrel.
This is what the hall looked like.
Yeah, that's it.
To be fair, we went there in the evening. It was quite dark. I don't really remember the outside.
That's
So it
crazy.
was-
Like the random places you end up. Yeah, because I had a conference in Russia as well, and that was really bizarre.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, in a massive like hotel, and there was vodka everywhere. And
I guess it
They
is.
don't put this on the
North
PhD
Wales.
brochure.
It's sort of like central North Wales.
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry, that was a massive tangent.
Fantastic. I learned. That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
We're all so.
Yeah, Tina, if you do a PhD, it
Yeah.
completely depletes your pride, your confidence, your ability to like walk around confidently. Trust me, all three of us can vouch for this. But
Yeah.
also you get free travel around the world, and that's the most important
Yeah.
thing.
That's what I was about to ask. Are they funding you for this? Oh, that's great.
I went to Boston, I went to Hawaii, I went to Washington. Where else did I go? I went to Germany. It's good times.
Sounds worth the breakdowns.
Right.
It's worth it.
I
So one after my PhD had finished, there was the Young European Radio Astronomers Conference that I'd been to every year of my PhD, and there was still some money left somehow, even though I'd finished my PhD. And I was like, I really, really want to go. So I gave it about my research, even though I wasn't carrying on with it, on this conference to Russia, and yeah, and it was free. I didn't have to pay at all. So.
I love that. I'm keeping that in mind. Oh,
I
easy.
went to a conference in America and managed to save the university about £800 in flights by, instead of coming straight back to the UK after the conference from America, coming back a week later from Costa Rica.
Whoa.
I'm so jealous.
It was a
I'm going
juicy.
to email you guys. What tips? What should I do? We're going to this place and I need some. How do I finesse?
I keep dropping Professor Neil Gosling like hints. I'm like, hey, can I just help you out on your trip to Galapagos next time? Like every time I'm like, oh, I'll pay for the ticket. Don't worry, I'll just help out your students. I'll chaperone.
That's trapped in the Galapagos. He was traveling there. He was on the news the other day. He was in the Galapagos, and then obviously this COVID happened, and he's just been there ever since. But he sounds like he's having like the time of his life. He doesn't really want to leave. He's just like,
Swimming with iguanas.
yeah, I'm just,
That's amazing.
Easy.
I would.
Yeah, like penguins and stuff. Yeah, amazing.
Crazy. You don't have to social distance with animals, so he's living life.
Good times.
Oh, beautiful. I heard in your set you were plugging Bright Club. That was funny. Plugging Bright Club at Bright Club. Inception. I love it.
Watch the YouTube of Bright Club.
Well,
Are you
you know,
still 7 watches away from being the top?
so,
Are you still 7 views away from being the top?
you know, I haven't actually checked, and when that came up in the set, I was like, oh, let's sneakily have a look.
I can have a
I'm
look
worried.
while we're talking. I'll check it.
There's probably loads of people above me now. I think especially because it helps that we were the first show, so we've had longer to build up.
Yeah, we've had 3 years of views more than
Yeah,
others.
just best.
And that, of course, yeah.
All right, last question before we go on to Nikhil's set is how did you engage with the wider community? So like not just the university, did you do like collaborations with Solent sometimes, or did it help that you had shows at different venues so you could just talk to the community there?
I mean, that was really important from the beginning because the whole point of doing it was to get researchers and research as a concept out into the wider world and to let people know in the city what these crazy people in their university were doing, and also to show that they were normal people. Like there's still that perception, isn't there, that a researcher is someone in a lab coat with crazy Einstein hair, probably a white male. So we had to get out there and change that. And honestly, the first show, someone who's Rebecca Kinch, who does a lot of stuff in the local community, came up to me and said, you're just like normal people, aren't you? Yes, we are. Job done. But it did take a lot of work, like a lot of just hitting every connection any of us had with anyone outside the university, and constantly and in every format. So we very quickly signed up to every form of social media we could at the time, got mailing lists together, went to every meeting, found out who the key networking people were in the city, so that they could share it more widely. Just nagging, I think, is probably how we did that. I don't know, when Nick took it on, I don't know if it's the same. Oh, we went on Radio Solent. That was
So we if you look at our logo, there's no like indication of the Uni of Southampton or anything, and it's called Bright Club Southampton. It's not called Bright Club Southampton University of Southampton. We made it as Southampton friendly as possible. People on our committee were also from Solent University in subsequent years, so we had people from Solent. We always said, like, just anyone, if you want to be part of this club, come and join us. We used to run our workshops for free in the city centre, so people, if you run an event in the university, first of all, people think it must be for that university only, and it must be for university students, not public. So step one, take everything out of the university. So we ran workshops outside, we ran our shows in the high streets. So the point was that people could walk in and be like, what's going on here? Oh, it's a comedy night. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, it's about research. I didn't know that, but it didn't feel like it was a research show, you know. We put posters up everywhere. Jess was busy going up and down Shirley High Street with flyers. She spent most of her time doing that. We went on BBC Radio Solent, stuff like that. We got the news out there. And yeah, we really did make a good effort to like connect with the community, and that was reflected by them then coming back to us, messaging us constantly saying, when's the next show, what can we do? In fact, we even kept track of how many people were coming from public or uni for the audience, and we'd get 50-50 split almost all the time, if not more people from the public, which is what we wanted, because people who work for the uni already know what's going on. We need the people who aren't at the uni knowing what's going on. And then we also started to get connections with people outside, so we started to get people who were researchers at London unis and in Surrey and stuff like that coming to perform, because it becomes more of like a network. Everyone starts to learn about each other, and so they'll just be like, hey, I heard you're doing one here. And Bright Club serves as like a really, really, really friendly environment to like trial comedic writing. So we had people like Ella Al-Shamahi, who is an archaeologist, if I'm correct, and she works for National Geographic. And she said, you know, I've got this new material. I don't know how it's going to go, but do you mind if I come and try it out then? I said, yeah, I mean, do what you want. And because actually our audience is so friendly and so interested, actually you can try whatever you want and they'll love it no matter what. So I feel so proud of what we did with Bright Club. It was such a good environment, and it gives so much back than what we were taking from it. And yeah, I would love to start it up again, you know, if we can get enough of us to take more of the load. But because yeah, I think it was just a really positive boost of entertainment and community for Southampton, for sure. Like, people were actually asking when is the next show, and that is the ultimate goal of it.